The fifth tarot card, the Pope. The fifth card is called the Pope or High Priest. It represents an initiate into the mysteries seated between the two pillars of the sanctuary. This symbolizes that to become an initiate, man must find a perfect balance and rule his spiritual life while sitting at rest between the two pillars Jakin and Boaaz, justice and mercy, or the masculine and feminine aspects of sex. Another meaning of Jakin and Boaaz is that the right-hand pillar represents the law, the left-hand pillar liberty to obey or disobey. Both are necessary to uphold the temple of humanity and to sound the sacred word, for obedience through compulsion can never bring freedom. Man must deliberately choose to obey. Hence, only as man finds this seat and chooses to sit in it and rule, can he understand and fulfill his office of priest. In his left hand he holds erect the triple cross. This is the rod of power by which he can penetrate into and rule the three worlds, and with poise, equilibrium, and a calm understanding utilize the powers entrusted to him to bring forth on the three planes, physical, mental, and spiritual. As ruler of the three worlds he wears the triple crown. His right hand forms the sign of esotericism and is raised in blessing over the heads of two kneeling figures, symbolizing that when the spiritual man has taken his seat as priest and ruler of the life, he will bless both the masculine and feminine expressions of humanity which bow in reverence before him. The fifth commandment. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Exodus 20:12. To take this commandment literally is to play sad havoc with all occult teaching, for are we not taught that the aim of evolution is to rise above the bondage of physical existence, i.e., to accomplish our work in the grand plan, help our fellow men, and spiritualize our bodies and the planet on which we dwell in as short a time as possible? Why, then, should we be enticed into paying filial respect by what, from an occult standpoint, is an empty promise, namely, that our days of pilgrimage and travail here on earth should be lengthened? While exoterically filial respect, honor and obedience to parents is a positive virtue which should early be inculcated, for it is sadly lacking in present-day children. Still, by the illumination of the inner light, we see that to take this merely as a literal command to simply honor the man and woman who supplied us with a physical vehicle in which to incarnate would not give us its true meaning. For in the case of bodies conceived in lust and sin and brought into the world sick, deformed, mentally deficient, and physically cursed from birth, little honor is due the parents, except for affording us an opportunity to work out the past karma which drew us to them for incarnation. Since 5 is the number of humanity, while we can personalize this commandment, we must also consider it in its universal aspect. The Father of humanity, the Father of all, is the active or positive principle of the Godhead, that active principle which ever cleaves the darkness of chaos when the gods say, "Let there be light." The Mother of humanity is that mighty passive principle which gathers up the light as it penetrates chaos and cherishes it in her bosom. It is forever the tender, brooding mother force which works on the germs of good in all things that they may ultimately bring forth that good. It is that unseen mother love of the Godhead, hovering like a dove over its nestlings, which feeds with food convenient for us every hungry heart, even if that food be seemingly bitter to the taste, the unseen agency which, when the fury of the tempest has spent itself and the sun shines forth, brings out the purifying effects. It is that mysterious force of healing which makes every wound, be it of the physical body, the mind, or the heart, tend to heal, unless infected by man's interference through his wrong thoughts, impure emanations, or evil creations. It is that love which makes time the great healer of all woes, the soother of all sorrows, the adjuster of all inharmonies, that brings sunshine after rain, laughter after tears, and joy, deep and abiding, after sin, sorrow, and repentance. In fact, it is the illumination produced by the light, the effect of its shining. Therefore, to honor the divine and living Father-Mother forces is to recognize that humanity is not mere dumb-driven cattle, whose hearts like muffled drums are beating funeral marches to the grave, but children of the divine Father-Mother, who must correlate with and obey their divine parents. The land which the law of thy good hath given thee is an abiding place in the field of manifestation, and a work to do in the grand plan of redemption. Therefore, in so far as you make your life an honor to God and the Christ, the divine incarnation in the flesh of the Son of the Father-Mother, by giving honor and obedience to the divine laws, so shall you, in your immortal divine self, belong with or continue to work consciously with the positive and negative forces back of humanity and evolution, until the light of the Christ has been able to shine forth in and spiritualize all things, or the 5 of humanity is swallowed up in the 6 of the Christ, and the great redemption of manifestation is accomplished in number 7.